It's our favorite day.
Hey,
It's our favorite day. It's our
hey,
favorite day. Woo! It's our
hey,
favorite day. It's
what is it?
Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's our favorite day. It's our
Hey,
favorite day. It's our
yes,
favorite day. Yes, it's our
hey,
favorite day. Hey guys, it is the Connected Corner, and we are buzzing. We're so excited to be here with you today. I'm your girl, Tori Rose, the Connector, and
and I'm your girl, Kiana B. Be happy.
boom, be happy, be thankful, be grateful that we made
Yeah,
it to see June. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. 6 months.
Happy June.
Happy June, my love. Happy June. We are so excited. So for anyone who's watching, let us know where you're tuning in on this June. Tune in on June. I'm about to come up with a song. Don't tempt us with a good time. So let us know where you're watching us from. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please be sure to do so by going to YouTube and clicking subscribe at our channel, The Connected Corner. It's all phonetic. There's no K's and H's and C's that shouldn't be in the place. Because we read and we lead, right, Key? How's
Yeah,
everything in your world?
it is going wonderful. I would like to pay homage and shout out and thank yous to our media partners, Nicotine Media. Hey,
Hey,
our
girl.
studio location when we are in the studio. And then
Mhm.
we want to also say thank you and homage to Radio on Fire.
Whoop, whoop.
Yes. Thank you, Diamond K, for the continued posts and helping us with
Yes.
all those graphic and media needs, and also to WMEG Radio. So you can follow all our media partners, Nicotine Media, Radio on Fire, and WMEG Radio on all your social media platforms.
Facts. Big facts. And like the kids say, period, poo.
Period.
I was trying to get that. It's like, just leave it alone. You know, you don't realize how old you're getting until you've gotten there. So,
Yeah.
guys, we have an amazing and awesome lineup for you. The show's topic is Black Enterprise, the journey to success in photography. Now, what often happens after we have these shows, we have these dynamic guests who come on and they drop these gems and jewels. Someone always comes and says, but I'm not a photographer. So let me help you guys. When you see our shows and you listen to the topics, be sure to insert your name. So instead of saying Kiana, if your name is Mary, make it applicable. If you're a caterer, instead of saying journey to success in photography, say catering. Guys, honestly, I just want to encourage anyone who feels like we have not touched on their specific topic of interest, that the subject matter experts, the professionals, the entrepreneurs that come on this show, the business leaders, it is applicable and transferable to the line of work that you're in, to the interest that you have. But Key, what do they have to do with the news and resources?
You got to use them. Okay. So we are bringing you news and resources you can use, but you got to use it. And so when you hear the information, whether it's from our guests or, just the jewels that are being dropped, write them down, make a note, journal it. Okay. So you can use it later to benefit your business, yourself, and what you're doing. And so this month of June, we're going to focus on Black Enterprise because it's the month of Juneteenth that we celebrate our freedom. Okay. And so we want to focus on the positivity and the things that we have accomplished and the growth that we have made as a people. Okay. And so whatever your area of expertise, whatever your area of business, tune in. Hey, if you know people who want to get into photography, any creative, make sure you're tagging them, send them the link, tell them, come on over to the Connected Corner on YouTube and make sure you subscribe for tonight and for the future and hit the bell so you always know when we go live.
Awesome sauce. So guys, welcome. We see Aunt Bonnie is here again with us tonight. Thank you so much. I think I may have even seen Carly, our sister, who's always checking in. And for anyone who's watching it tonight, let us know where you're watching from. So if you're on Facebook, say Facebook. If you're on YouTube, YouTube. If you're catching us on the replay, just write replay. And for anyone else who's tuned in, we want you to do something throughout the show. And it is write the sentence, I will have success. And so as you're watching us and you're hearing, since we're talking about the journey to success in photography, whenever you see something or hear something you like, write that sentence, I will have success, because we're claiming it. And not only that, we're taking the steps to manifest it from June to December. You didn't lose out from June to December. You still got time. So Kiana, let's talk a little bit about tonight's guest. Who is it?
Yeah, so tonight we have the mastermind himself, Mr. John Hudson III. Okay, make sure y'all, the third. It's 3 of them, all right? Okay, John Hudson III. He is a highly sought after photographer in the DMV area and beyond, and he's the owner of Mastermind Photography and Design. And without further ado, we're going to bring this gentleman to the stage. Okay, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. Yes.
I'm like,
hey. Black is beautiful.
This. This is how excited I got, John. This is how excited I got. Welcome to the Connected Corner. Everyone say hi, put your virtual hands together and say hello to Mr. John Hudson III. Why don't we
Thank you, Tori. Thank you, Kiana. Thanks for having me on your show.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. So I always want to say J3, but explain to me the JH3MM for anyone who wants to know.
It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. It's John Hudson III, aka Mastermind, and my logo has the 2 M's in it, so that's where the 2 M's comes from. When you see JH3MM, short and simple, and it looks really, really good when you gotta make banners and stuff like that.
It does. And here at the Connected Corner, we never take for granted that common sense is common, because it means something different to everybody. And especially being as though there's still people calling me Troy. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or Toi.
I would be okay with that. Like the art, never mind. So tell us a little bit about your business. How long have you been in photography, and why photography?
I started in 2000, and I never really wanted to be a photographer. What I wanted to do was take pictures and erase the background, but the process was so long that I couldn't really. It'll take too long, and the quality just wasn't there. So I had to take the picture with my disposable camera. I lived in Park Heights, so I had to walk up to the Rite Aid that was on Belvedere, get it developed, come back home, scan the photos. After getting them printed, and then erase the background. Then I just wanted to be able to create designs and just erase the background. But because I started off with good pictures, that means that I take good pictures, and then naturally people start to see that I had good pictures, and they decided they wanted to hire me for different things, even when I wasn't ready.
That's a good point. That even when you're not ready, and I won't spill, the tea later for that segment, but that just make a mental note right there. Even when you're not ready to do something, you still end up doing it anyway. And so, we like to think of that as walking in the purpose. Sometimes you got to be pushed into the things that you're called to do, but that's a journey. So you Park Heights, walk into the Rite Aid, getting the pictures developed, coming back, all because you wanted to take the backgrounds off. Like, y'all getting this, people? Like, you start somewhere, right? And we're gonna
start somewhere. And if you're a lot of times people are afraid to start anything. Like you said earlier, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Like, all right, pay attention. It doesn't matter. You have to really just hurry up and fail. And a lot of times people are afraid of failure, and it's like you just need to just hurry up and do it. Like, now, what's the worst that can happen? After you get the failure out the way, it's like, all right, I can handle this.
And while people believe you become comfortable with failure, I always challenge them to say, no, you don't become comfortable with failure. it helps you become comfortable with rebounding, right? Like what it takes to get back up. Getting back up in itself is a process. And so, unfortunately, and because we're talking about Black enterprise, for any of our non-Black viewers, this would be the time, if you're sensitive to color issues, go ahead and watch another podcast, because there's something very historical even in understanding why Black and brown people don't know how to fail forward, don't know how to get right back up from a failure. And we think that we're defined by that failing moment. So that's so good. Hurry up and fail. So, do you remember how we met?
Yes. We were on a magazine shoot, I believe.
I want to talk a little bit about not necessarily the experience of me wearing clothes out of your closet, but the magazine. So you may have had some failures, but how we met was enterprising. Can you tell us a little bit about that work? Even if you don't want to talk about the magazines per se, but that work, how did you get into those kind of collaborative events?
Well, it's just the networking. And about 10 years ago, I used to make fake magazine covers. And then certain people, they used to call me asking about advertising rates and everything else. Like, this is literally just a fake magazine cover. And what happens is, Eminem probably said it best in Lose Yourself. He said, I was playing in the beginning and then the mood all changed. So every now and then we're just playing around doing something that might be a hobby or something like that. And then all of a sudden the mood changed when things start to get real serious. Like, no, this is actually a viable thing for you to do. You can actually make a living off of this. So by the time I ran into the magazines, they already saw that I can do magazine covers and stuff like that. But instead of jumping me into doing the covers, I was forced to learn how to do magazine layouts. So not only and that's part of the design part of Mastermind photography and designs. Like, I take the pictures, but I'm actually able to do designs and layouts, flyers, and all sorts of anything that needs to be printed.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I've jokingly said, but I think I'm serious. I've jokingly said, I want you to do my obituaries because I want a magazine as an obituary. Now, the reason I say I'm jokingly saying it is because by the time I plan on dying, hopefully you will have died first. Secondly,
thank you. Well,
listen, she's not killing you off, John. She's not killing you off.
Because I plan on dying at 100. And so, secondly, if you
my mother's watching this.
Right. Mom, I promise we need him in the earth today. But I plan on dying at 100. So if you're still working in your business and at 100 plus, then you can do my obituaries. If not, little man will be doing them for us. What you have said is so instrumental. And I've said that, like, this is good quality. We've been a part of other people's products who have not had the same level of quality. And from just that one photo shoot, I've always stayed connected to you because of your quality. What do you think sets you apart in that way? Yeah, you produce quality, but where does it come from?
The fact that probably what I'm starting to see is I actually care about how people look, how they're perceived, how the better you look, the better I look. And if you had carried that motion into, carry that mentality into whatever it is that you're doing, you pretty much get through anything. Like, and if you take pictures as if this person was your own sister or child or whomever is like this close to you, you can definitely produce a lot. Because, like, imagine taking pictures of somebody you have to see every week. You don't want to disappoint them. They're gonna look at you funny. Like, you got to be able to really produce high quality images because, hey, I gotta look at you next week. I don't want to like, oh, he messed up my pictures.
That is actually a good motto.
He didn't fix my strap. He knew my head. He knew that piece of hair didn't go right there. And honestly, half the time I don't know. I'll be guessing, but whatever.
Oh my goodness. So I'm laughing twofold. One, because we've had those experiences. And we all, remember the school photos and the single majestics, and your mom is upset because your piece of your hair, your ponytail was sticking up. And it's like, these people were supposed to be professionals. You didn't, I paid you for the packet. You just gonna take a picture of my kid looking any kind of way?
They are still professionals, but a lot of times what I see with school photographers or people have to deal with a lot of people, it's more like a carousel type of thing rather than trying to produce the best image. And for me, I know when particularly people wear customized things, like when you got, the Mastermind shirt or the Kiana B shirt, we want to be able to see that. And I know that's something important. So I'm not going to have you posted up like this when I know that needs to be seen. So certain things need to be seen. That shoes, customized shoes for certain birthday parties, or tutus or whatever, we got to see the whole outfit. We have to be able to see it clearly. All these things are really important. Now, if you're dealing with like 100 kids at the time, unfortunately, I've never been in that situation. I treat everybody, I don't care how long the line is, we'll make sure we get the right picture before we move on. We can't move on until you get this particular project or person right.
Yeah. It's a very good point. I had a conversation earlier today with one of my clients, right? And so it's interesting because I realized that those calls often happen on Tuesday, earlier in the day. And then I have actually something to talk about Tuesday night. So that works perfectly. But anyway, what you just explained is the difference between a company who's hiring an employee versus a company who's hiring a mascot. Mm-hmm. And what I explained to her this morning was, for companies who just, hey, I just need somebody to hold a camera and click, right? That person has no ownership to that brand. They are not connected to the brand or the quality or the mission statement in which the brand says it's going to offer. If you hire a mascot, that mascot goes out, and every time someone sees that mascot, it is a walking representation of your brand. And so the difference in the quality is, did you get an employee or a mascot? So every time I see you, not only are you your own employee, but you're your own mascot. Like, you show up and people know who you are. You're always well put together. There may be a young person or even a person mid-career, mid-entrepreneurship who wants to be their own mascot. Like, how do I show up my person as this person? How do I do that? Can you give them some tips, some tools? What say you?
First of all, I thank you for saying that. But every time I go somewhere, I just assume that nobody knows me. I don't go in there expecting to be popular. I don't chase popularity. I want to introduce myself to anybody and everybody, whether or not I have my name on my shirt or not. And even if you don't know me by name, I probably rather you know me by quality, just being taking really good photos. Because like sometimes you're not going to care about who I am until I take a good picture of you. Like, oh, who took those pictures? I need that guy at my party. I need him to take pictures of my kid or whatever. It's like you just every time you go out, you're literally on an interview. You're literally auditioning for the next job, because that's pretty much where a lot of my business comes from. People have seen me somewhere and they either like the attitude, they saw the things that I was doing. I fixed a strap, I fixed somebody's tire, even the guys, making sure their tires are straight. You gotta be able to do that. And honestly, I love seeing the dudes in suits. So like, if I see a dude in a suit, like, hey, come take a picture on the background. Normally, if I'm able to do that, it's normally in a slower time, so I'm able to take a really good photo of them, because we don't see a lot of guys regularly in suits. So like, I'm gonna take the best picture I can of this guy.
Right. I want to circle back to what you were saying, which I think is very important, you guys. So make sure listeners, viewers, you're taking notes, whether you're watching it now live or on the replay. But you said every time you show up, you're in your interview, right? So you're representing yourself. You look at it as you're interviewing every time you show up somewhere. And I think that is a very, very important advice, nugget, wisdom, because as entrepreneurs, we have to understand that when you work a 9 to 5, when you get off at 5, 6, whatever that time is, your day ends there. You go home. Nobody even has to know where you work or who you work for, right? That's the employee that's what we talked about. And so you can disconnect yourself from that employer. You can never disconnect yourself from your brand. You never disconnect yourself from your brand. And so that is so important, that make sure you guys got that nugget. You are always showing up as you're always on an interview, and you never disconnect yourself from your brand when you're an entrepreneur.
Even as a person, because I'm gonna throw this in there, because I know we've all taught some shape or form or fashion as previous educators. We have to get into our young people that even right now, if you have a brand, right? You're not even thinking that way. What you're doing today will directly impact your tomorrow, especially if it lands on social media, especially because nothing is ever deleted. Nothing is ever gone, right? And so something you guys said, a couple of comments back, I want to talk about Life Touch. And I promise not to take over the whole show with this 40-minute rant. I won't. But anybody who knows me knows that there was like 2 or 3 specific incidents where I had the Prince, Prince J, rephotographed because I felt that the photographer discriminated against him. That's how I felt. Mm-hmm. I felt that he was in a predominantly white and Asian school with predominantly white and Asian kids. And when I'm looking at everybody else's pictures, they were well put together. My kid had on a suit or something, of high class, high taste and quality, but his collar was jacked up, or he was looking backwards when he took the picture. And each time, Life Touch came back and retook his photos for me, each time. What happens, entrepreneur now, that's a big business, a bigger business. What happens when an entrepreneur as yourself gets a complaint, or someone like me who says, this is poor quality, like I need you to do it again? How do you handle those situations? And does it, so 2 parts, how do you handle it? And does it feel like a failure in that instance?
Absolutely not. It doesn't feel like a failure. To answer the second part of your question, it doesn't feel like a question, failure. But to answer your first question, it doesn't. I don't know. I just lost my thought.
No worries. Let me answer it again. So you got Tori on the phone saying JH3MM. I hate these pictures. I hate them. Can you redo them for me? How do you respond?
Okay.
What do you do in these?
Fundamentally, across every industry that you have to find truth in whatever somebody's saying. Like, is this a viable comment? Is this valid? Then you build onto that. So then he's like, well, do you see what this person is saying? Like, a lot of times you don't have to agree with the person that's telling you anything. You don't have to, but you do, in my opinion, have to find, their perspective. You have to understand what it is that they're saying. Okay, now that I understand what you're saying and I can almost see your valid point, where do we go from there? Then you're able to fix a lot of things that they were actually complaining about. But it doesn't seem like a failure, but it is something that you have to learn from. And honestly, the ones that come back to you are the ones that help you grow. And honestly, most of the time I do prefer, well, I don't prefer it that much, but I love when people come back and give me negative feedback, because a lot of times we'll be on cloud 9 thinking we're the man, like, oh, can nobody touch me? I'm the best in the city. And then like somebody comes and pops your bubble. You need your bubble popped every now and then. I need my bubble popped every now and then, because you don't want your head getting too big or feeling like you are the man, or you can't grow, you can't get any bigger, and nobody can tell you anything. Like, no, I failed quite a bit. I've disappointed some people, probably disappointing some people right now, but you just gotta move on from it, or just try to figure out how to fix it.
Awesome. And so you brought up an amazing point. There is a stigma around Black photographers, Black male photographers in our city. And to your point, there is sometimes even an ego. I've had a gentleman who I would never use again. And if I could remember his name right now, I would call him out, because every time I see him, I'll be like, who told me what I should be feeling and how I should be presenting in my photo shoot, right? Because of this air, this cockiness of him being, I'm Mr. Such and Such. Is his name Mike? Kiki, you know what I'm talking about, the guy. Every time I see the guy.
Oh, yeah.
I think his name is Mike. And so the reason, and you guys know it takes a lot for me to put shade on anybody's business, but I also have a brand. I'm the connector. That means I vet people before I connect them with other people. And so that is a connection that I tell anybody, no, you might get your pictures for $50, but baby, you're going to have the $50 experience. So anyway, I digress. Is it true that Black photographers, especially males in our city, are cocky, arrogant, that type of thing? And then bubble pop, what does that really mean to a photographer like yourself?
I'm not arrogant, honestly. And even though I'm coming up on 21 years, I still get nervous every time I go up and take pictures. And it's like, no, that whole cockiness, like, no, I don't care what you did yesterday. You got to do it again today. So that whole resume and name dropping and what it is, like nobody really cares. That's how you got here. Now prove that you weren't lying on your resume, and that's going to get you through it. And I think that's for all businesses, honestly, especially the ones that are starting out. Just don't this whatever you did yesterday is pretty much what got you here. Now, what is it going to get you to tomorrow? And a lot of times, even over the past year, it's like a lot of people started new businesses or got into something. And it's like, well, that's nice, that's cute, but it's like, well, holler at me a year or two, because I think a lot of it's based on gimmicks, is based on trends, is based on doing something right now out of boredom because I have time or whatever. It's like, no, well, cool. Remember, a lot of us started businesses out of frustration or desperation. Like, I heard a lot of decorators started off like, no, they were charging too much or they were booked or whatever. So I went on Amazon, I bought balloons, and then next thing you know, they're one of the top decorators in the whole city. But these are the things that it came from. So for me, I will, as far as the cockiness, I do see a lot of people that are chasing popularity, chasing the likes and everything else. You can go on my page right now. A lot of people ain't liking. A lot of people didn't even like the fact that I was on this radio show, but everybody I text, like, all right, I can't wait to tune in. So for me, I'm more one-on-one. So I don't hope they don't judge my popularity on what they see on social media, because I'm in your face.
That is such a good point, and it resonates with some of the things that, like, I have done this where, because we work with certain people, you work with certain clients, people wanting to start businesses, like you said, out of boredom. And so a lot of times where Tori and I have had clients where it's like we ask, well, why do you want to do this? Like, regardless of whatever your why is, whatever motivates you, but it can't be something you want to do just because you're bored. Because entrepreneurship, starting a business, like we talking about, it's a journey, right? And so success is not going to come tomorrow, but as we say, we want to drop listeners, I am going to be successful. We know that, right? You got to start with that and knowing that, but just know it's not going to come tomorrow, and there's a journey and a process to it. So that's that first part of that, is making sure that's something you want to do. But again, the second part of it, like you was talking about, the ego, you'll go on and we'll see that somebody we know is great in what they do, is really making money, 6 figures beyond in what they're doing, but they got 1,000 Instagram followers, right? And so we try to get people to understand is that followers does not equate to customers. It also does not equal your funds. And so, especially in something that, we were doing, helping people with operations and marketing and that thing. And it's like, well, you only have this many followers. Okay. Is the advice I'm giving you not going to work? You know what I mean? And so we have to really take a look at that. It's like, it's about my quality and what I'm doing, or you worry about how many people follow me.
But my thing is, I started in 2000. So the day that I got my digital camera, I was literally the second person that actually had a digital camera that I knew personally. Like anybody I can call, there was only one person. So it's like a growing, and in that time period, I'm like I said, I'm walking around Park Heights with a laptop in my backpack and my camera in my pocket. I'm connecting my camera, like, hey, I can take your picture and do all sorts of stuff with all this. And they tell me, hey, make CD covers. I'm all right, cool. And I was forced to do things. And this is 2000. So this is before Google. This is before YouTube. This is before even using the internet. We just doing things on our own. Like all I have is kind of like how you grew up in the 80s and 90s, and how all you had was what was right there. There was no connection to this other world. So coming up from that mindset, it's like I still don't believe that I need social media. Of course, it's a huge tool. It's a way that you can grow. Like I said before, be in your face. This is what, if I can do this one-on-one, I can do this with or without Photoshop. I don't even need a computer. I'm that good. And what a lot of people think that they need to do is like they have to have all these followers, and you can buy followers. And those numbers lie, but the people that call me, they're not lying. Tori's not lying. Tori and I, when we see each other, I don't know. I'll be out having to do something like, no, we're going to sit there and talk for 15, 20 minutes just because until we realize, like, hey, we should do the responsible thing and walk away from each other.
Yes, the Chipotle nights.
Yeah. Food's getting cold.
Yes, exactly. Like, but I will put mine back in the oven. But you're exactly right. And to both of your points, I want to address Catrice Turner. Thank you so much, Catrice, for being with us. She said her wedding photographer was extremely cocky, and she later realized that she didn't get a great experience, because she's not popular. And so it's funny that you say that, because especially in a city like Baltimore that resonates more like a town kind of feel, I am popular, right? Most people, I mean, if you ask, like Monica used to say, you ask 1 out of 4, at least 3 will know her, right? Well,
I say the same thing. If you don't have a mastermind photo, you know somebody who does.
Who does, exactly. So, but popularity, again, like Catrice is saying, is based off of the who knows who, the who's who, and this falsehood. And so I think that those of us that have legitimate businesses who are every day fighting for a certain quality of client, right? Because everybody's not your client, but people in the reciprocity, you also want to be quality. We understand that those numbers are the perception of popularity, right? And as Kiana always says, it then translates to the perception of wealth. And so to John's point, I think that when we talk about Black enterprise, there's 4 areas that really, as Black people, we should touch on. That's entrepreneurship, that's news, finances, capital or money, however you want to say it, and contacts. If you Google Black enterprise, you see these concepts that build Black wealth. And I'm gonna give them to you again: entrepreneurship, news and or resources, money, that could be assets, right? Money or funds, however you want to say it, and contacts, like people, your net worth, being connected to your net worth. People are not turned on, though, by the non-sexy topics. So we provide news and resources, which our ancestors died so we could have Black enterprise. People would not like this, but if Kiana and I right now posed on a sexy picture, we would have hundreds of likes. I've had videos that have been shared thousands of times. I've gone viral twice. However, none of that ever equated to funds. So how do you motivate yourself and not get caught up in the social media? Because somebody right now is torn, John. They're like, look, I don't want to do this for 21 years and wait to pop. I want to pop tomorrow. Microwave.
I don't know what to tell those people. I don't know what to tell those people. You gotta get in the slow cooker. I mean, even meet the right people at the right time. If you're out there, if you want to build yours really, really quickly, go to every event that you can. And I followed early on in about 2007, 2008. I followed somebody else's model. Like, just go to everybody's party and just take pictures, give them away, give them their MySpace page at the time. Just go there, become my friend. I'll give you all the photos that you want to have. Here you go. And then you start to once you start to build your name for yourself, in like 3 or 4 months, you should be able to get some kind of traction going. Now, this was 2008, where people didn't have really high quality cell phones at the time. So now I honestly wouldn't know how to get started in 2020, 2021. It's really kind of difficult. Even when I go to Delaware to talk to the middle school kids on how to get started, my best advice is for them to like really take good photos with their cell phones, and then hopefully somebody will buy them a digital camera. Because that's what my mother did for me when I was 18. She saw that I was taking it seriously. And at the time, I came from a 2-parent household, and I had everything I wanted: shoes, clothes, whatever. I just want a digital camera, a 1 megapixel digital camera. I go to Best Buy, and I don't even know what I'm looking for. I did absolutely no research. I'm literally researching on a price tag at Best Buy in Woodlawn in 2000, July 21st, 2000. And all right, I want that one, I guess. I don't know. So that's what happened. That's what I did. And that's where everything started. It just started from absolutely nothing but frustration. I got tired of walking around it.
I love that. So part of, what we talk about, and Catrice said, preach, Tori, to what you were saying, because we know that it is very true, and what we're talking about here when it talks about success. And so we gotta really look at what that means, and understanding that it's about the quality. And so we appreciate the quality that you provide. Listening to, and I'll say this, because we were talking about early, the 3M. I thought it was cute, and I was like, oh, okay, Mastermind, but I thought it was a play because cameras like millimeter, or I don't know but that's what it made me think when I saw the MM. It made me think millimeter. So it's Mastermind, but it also goes for the fact that you're a photographer, because I immediately thought, oh, okay, that's cute. It's millimeter. He's a photographer. And so I don't know if that's still something they use, because I think I'm a good photographer. You played with that?
I played with that before, because the disposable camera was the 35 millimeter film. So, early on, I did call certain things 35 mm, but it's like it was a dying thing, so that wasn't going to catch on anyway. It's almost like calling everything Y2K. Like,
you're right.
Pretty much died in 2001.
So my son did this thing. I think it was my son. I don't remember, but either way, I'm gonna ask you and Kiana both. Show me that you're making a phone call without actually picking up your phone. So can you do it? Can you already
know I'm old school.
Okay.
Like we hang loose in Hawaii. Kiana, that's cool.
Right.
You said show you I'm making a phone call without picking up my phone.
Without touching your actual phone. Use your hand.
Oh, okay. So my first thought was I was going to do this, like I was pressing the numbers.
Okay. And now to say hello. So how would you say hello? On the phone.
On the phone. Yeah. I'm still doing this.
Okay. So
I'm from the generation that's going to be doing this.
Okay.
Okay. So hello.
Got it. I'm also this. Okay. However, if you do it to younger generation of people, you say, hey, Stink, show me that you're making a phone call using your phone, but not actually using your phone, use your hand. He would do this.
Mm-hmm.
Because the cell phone looks like this now, right? It doesn't look like this. Phone receiver, he may have, my child, he in the background talking about, cat, because of course he's my child, so he's a little worldlier. But the point I'm making is that was a little exercise to say that we have to roll forward with the changes, right? So even if it was JH3 millimeter, now it's JH3 Mastermind. In the future, it may be moving movies and Matrix or something, right? Because it's ever evolving. I don't know, get them with an M. I don't know. I was thinking, what is it called? Not hieroglyphics. Come on, John, save the day. What is it called when you show up and you're on a hologram?
Let me get with the M. Okay.
No, it doesn't. But I was thinking something in a lot with the H in hologram. You're not going to embarrass me in my own show. Anyway, point I'm making.
Well, I never embarrassed myself. Catrice, that was hilarious because I was like, huh? Like, hi.
The point I'm making is, for anyone who is watching, that's cool to say because we're having too much fun, is to be flexible, even how you name your business. He named his business based on his brand. He's the mascot, right? He will always be JH3. No one's taking that from him. But that MM has such levels of creativity and flexibility that even if he decided, while everybody's moving further digitally, I'm going to do antique photos and restore older photos, he could go backwards to MM. Somebody's on Facebook.
My bad.
So that was all. That was my 2 cents. I think I derailed us a little bit, but in your marketing, you should always have multiple ways of spinning the business so that you can Black enterprise. That was the point I was making. Kiana,
we got it. You brought it back. You brought it back around, and we got to make people laugh, right? And
and the process on the downtime, remind them to subscribe to our YouTube channel, guys. Listen,
right?
There's bloopers on the Real Live show, but we're live and we're real people. and we like photographers. So listen, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hear this entire show from beginning to end. Also, be sure to stay to the end so you can get connected to our amazing guests. Also, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Connected Corner.
Woo-hoo. Yeah, there you go. There go the plug. And so I'm sorry, I'm still laughing at myself. I'm a little bit silly. And so Tori, thank you for making sure you made the plug. Thank you for derailing us and bringing us back. But that was a great point. And so having marketing minds are always thinking down the road and how you can rebrand and how to change what you do and to stay relevant. So we know, like, okay, having social media followers is not going to bring you necessarily clients or customers or money, but you definitely have to stay relevant in your industry and what you're doing, regardless, with your branding and what you're offering, to keep the money coming in. All right. And so we are getting ready to get started with our segment. And so the next segment we're going to have is key questions. That's a tongue twister. And so I have 3 questions for you, for John. And audience, you can answer the questions as well. We want to hear from you. Don't forget to continue to post in the comments. I will be successful as we go throughout the show, but we're going to get started with our key questions. And so you can drop your answers and comments down as well. And so in this segment, John has 2 minutes, and this is our little 2-minute timer. So we're not going to cheat you out the time, 2 minutes. And so I will turn this over after I read the first question. We will have the question up on the screen. It will also be posted, but you will have 2 minutes to answer all 3 questions. So keep that in mind, right? So 3 questions, 2 minutes. All right. And I'm going to start the timer after the first question. And so the first question is, how do you know you're walking in your purpose?
It's been undeniable. It's like I got forced into it. Like, it's like, all right, I got kicked out the door at the jobs. I got fired from jobs. Like, fired from jobs I was actually competent at doing. Like, no, just don't belong here. Doesn't matter. You're good at it. Gotta go. And it's like, and at that time, it's like, all right. And then it's like every time I went to go do anything, I just kept bringing me back, like Chingy and Tyrese. It's like it's just keep coming back, and it's like I can't really get away from it. I can't get away from it.
Oh my God, I love the analogy. Thank you for that and your answer. Oh my goodness. And so question number 2, how do you measure your success?
By how happy my clients are. Like that's pretty much it. Like the money's going to come. That's a given. But it's like the quality of it. Am I proud of what it is that I did? Am I proud of the pictures that I've taken? Are they proud to show them off? I measure my success by me coming to your house and I see my picture on your wall. Like, and some people, they'll notice. I'll come over there and I'll just take a photo I took of them, and I might mention it too. Like that's like the hugest honor. Because I know some people that have had pictures taken and they just hide their wedding photos, whatever, under the closet, or I don't know, keep the table steady or hold the window open or something like that. They just don't. They're so not proud of the photos, and it's like, well, if anybody's ever felt that way, they can tell me.
Oh, that's awesome. They use it as a door stopper. Number 3, what is a piece of advice you have for someone interested in entering your industry?
Definitely understanding fundamentals. Do not skip fundamentals. Don't skip the customer service part of whatever it is that you're doing. And some of us, we need regular jobs in order to get this whole training of customer service. That way we're able to really focus on what made these really big companies successful. Like, what is it that they're doing? Not the whole slave ship mentality, but the whole, are they able to really maneuver and make this thing successful, minus the part where they're doing it on the backs of hardworking people. Like, what is it that you can do?
Good job. And you literally, like, it went all the way down. So you were right in your time, even with the jokes and analogies. So good job with that. And so I also want to read Patrice's answer to how do you know you're working, how do you know you're walking in your purpose? And she said, when you would do it for free because you love it that much. And so thank you for that answer. Thank you for being with us tonight, Catrice. And everyone, please continue to drop your answers. If you're watching on the replay, you can still answer our key questions and let us know that you're watching on the replay and where you're watching us now live.
All right.
Thank you, John.
Awesome. I love that. So what about like national associations, like the photographers, Black photographers and things like that? Do you up to any of those? Do you think that they help, especially when it comes down to networking and finding clients?
No, I don't know. It helps some people, and I do see a lot of people. They like to be part of groups. I'm definitely a loner, so no, I don't. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I'm not saying anything against it. Would it help me? I really don't know. I'm self-taught. I didn't go to school. I didn't do any of that. I did pretty much everything on my own when it comes to photography. That I don't know. If it works for you, that's fine. I don't see how it works. And I'm not saying it wouldn't work. I don't see it working for me.
I love that answer. And it's a very honest answer because not everything is for everybody. And so I love it because, again, I'm not going to point at anybody, but a 20-year-old that's very close to me who I often find myself frustrated because I feel like I'm not communicating that there's no microwave recipe or there's no 1, 2, 3 success, or, there's no cookie cutter mold. So maybe, like you just said, the National Association of Black Photographers could be what Timmy needs. But what John needed was something he found on the inside. It was intrinsic. And you were able to self-motivate and get it done. Yeah. I think I should learn how to sing that same direction, that same way. I'd be trying. Never mind. It's a whole other story. I'd be trying, John. I try.
I didn't mean
self-motivate. Right. Sing what? Not in the show.
And you're right. Everything isn't for everybody. And my old school approach probably isn't working for anybody anyway. I'm really based on trying and failing. Like, it doesn't work. I don't know. And even with the the confetti photos, I don't even know how to point right here. With the confetti photos, or just doing all sorts of random stuff. Even the Lego wall that I have here, a lot of it is based on just trying something. And what I'm starting to see with a lot of people, especially young people, they think in groups. Nobody thinks individually anymore. I was like, I'm gonna throw an idea out there and I'm gonna see if you like it. Me, I don't. I'm here by myself most of the time, bouncing things off of walls like a Super Bowl. And whatever happens, happens. And like whatever, by the time you get to me, I've already failed so many times and I already nailed it for you. So it doesn't really matter. The Lego wall, the lighting, the whole reflective floor thing that I do, all this stuff. Like I already tried and I failed it. I already cut my finger trying to operate this drone I just got. So
wow.
So yeah.
Wow.
Should have never tried to catch it in midair. That was dumb.
Honestly, that's a great approach. I was going to see if I can share some of these pictures. Can you all see this?
Oh,
can you see it? You see it now?
Not the whole thing. Not the whole
thing.
So
I'm going to see if I can pull it up and make it a little bigger.
No, that's us.
This one's me. So I know I'm sideways, guys, because it's in my email. But I want to let you know the quality of the person that is on this call with us. This is John's tie, and this is John's shirt, because I was not prepared based on the instructions that I had received from this particular assignment with multiple looks. And a lot of people would have told me, heck no, you cannot go in my closet. Don't touch my stuff, you weird lady. However, this was a business shirt and a tie and I don't have the finished look, but I have some others. So let me show you. This is us together. Yeah. Letting me know that you were not a creep. You said, I'm not a creep, I promise. You said you can go through the whole house, have a son, here's my license. You're not a creep, and you weren't. And here is a picture with me and my son. So as you talk about hair out of place and different things, I started feeling a little unorganized and not so confident. And you let my son come in and help. And let me tell you, these were amazing pictures. Look at that.
Hell yeah.
Look at that. That was with
Watch
the
out,
wings.
Beyonce.
That's exactly how I felt. I had my makeup done in your house. I mean, it was amazing how you just allowed everything just to come together in such a good way. And so for anyone who is watching, look at that. And that piece of hair is supposed to be out of place. But I was
And
channeling my
these are unedited photos. So yeah, that's impressive.
unedited photos. Impressive. So I just
Yeah,
wanted
that
to
is
bring
impressive.
So the thing about that is, like, first of all, I gotta make certain things work, and I'm more so an event photographer rather than a photo shoot. So you have to look at around, and you got to be able to use whatever's there, whatever corner that you want to use, or whatever looks best. Like, don't take pictures in front of the bathroom sign; it just looks horrible. But just got to find the best corner to do things. Secondly, getting your son involved is the absolute thing to do. And one of the things that I do with the kids, and I have one client, like every time I come here, I got to pose for her. It's like part of her photo shoot is for her to take pictures of me. She's been doing that since she was 9. I just did her 13th birthday party. The other part of that is like you literally grow up with these people. You grow up with the father, the mothers, the fathers, and you watch these kids grow up from being like teeny tiny babies to like whole adults. I've taken pictures with a young lady that was a baby at the first time I met her. She's now 20, attending college. So it's like to come back full surface. It's like it's really amazing. But you gotta really care first. You gotta care. Keeping in touch is cool, but like you said earlier, because I feel like Baltimore is a small town. It's very rare that I can go outside, my neighbors, and see people that I know. Just run into them at Walmart, Kmart, Aldo, wherever we want to shop, doesn't really matter. We'll see them all over the place.
Well, thank you. I wanted to and thank you, Tori, for sharing that so people understand and they know this is the connected corner. And so some of people understanding, like we said earlier, and if you're joining us late, you can always go back and watch on the replay, but we try to touch on the different topics in the different areas. And so we are focused on Black enterprise for the month of June because we're going to celebrate Juneteenth this month. And so it's really about like that network and understanding that staying connected with people, getting connected, even staying connected with the connected corner. If we are not specifically talking about your industry or what you're doing, even tonight, yes, John is a professional photographer, but there's been so much information that has come across the airways, right? Nuggets and tips and advice that you can apply to any industry that you're in. I want to point out Kim Stills, thank you for joining us. Like she said, John talked about being old school and having that. She said, don't sleep on the old school foundation. And I think that's why you are as successful as you are. When you talk about
rooted.
Yeah, the roots, and so when you go back and you think about, like you said, I needed to get this digital camera, because I'm walking a Rite Aid, and the process that you were doing, I think when you have those roots and you keep thinking about the growth and where you're coming from, it helps you to be as creative as you are, coming up with the different ideas, being unique, being the first to pioneer something. Because that is how you started, because you have that old school foundation. And so I like the fact that you are teaching that to other children, because they don't get that. And so we have to understand how important foundation is. So thank you for that.
No problem. It wasn't the walk that was bad. It was the process of waiting. And when you got this idea, and I gotta wait like a whole hour in order for me to get it started, I'm ready to just jump in there.
And let's admit, you had to walk through Park Heights, so we're talking back, and
that wasn't the bad part. That's how you got to know a lot of people. At the time, I had hair, so I'm plucking my hair out. If I ever wanted to get my hair braided, I just walk around plucking my hair out. And some girl between the Horseshoe, where I come from in Park Heights, to Belvedere, that's like 8 or 9 blocks. Somebody's gonna braid my hair for free because I got it, and it was clean and it was detangled and all the other stuff. Whatever works. And honestly, even in your youth, if you do have the looks to do certain things, they're not always going to last. I'm down to boss probably personality at this point, so don't think your looks are going to get you anywhere forever. But you got it early on, and if it works for you, find out how to make that work too. I mean, that's just something that you have going on. Because like a lot of times, even in my photos, my own personal photos, it's like I look good in my photos. And one of the biggest things that I was known for, literally splitting up JH3MM or John and Mastermind, I used to multiply myself in photos. And because I was my own model, I was able to grow from that. And those are one of the things that people still remember to this day, that I started doing that 19 years ago when I created that on my own, being able to multiply myself and make it look like it was actually more than one person in there. I don't know
I
if you
wish
saw
I
my
could do that in real life.
Oh yeah, we all do. I think
I
that's where a
could.
lot of that I think that's where a lot of that came from. And growing up, I was raised as an only child, so I remember playing Monopoly by myself and like just being the boat in the car at the same time. It's a crazy idea, but imagine having to be absolutely two different people with two different mindsets at the very same time. And to be able to do those photos, I guess definitely check them out on my Facebook page.
Most certainly. I mean, everything that you've said, you've touched on so many different things. And I agree with how some of these associations are now moving more towards membership focused and core values. I mean, this has just been very, very, very good for me. I value you. I appreciate you. We do have some plans to not die anytime soon. So I guess at 100, I'll talk about what this obituary thing looks like.
Cool. 2082 sounds like a good year to die. That's what it is. 100 years is really good.
More like 2084. Don't age me. Try and kill me off sooner than I gotta go.
I'm 2082.
Oh,
right.
Okay. Well, listen, we have to put one of those little packs together. Whoever goes first, this is what it's supposed to look like. The quality.
Yeah, then we got to remember 60 years from now. Come on. Who did she say back in 2021? I don't remember. Right.
Now we ain't even doing funerals. They just put you in a black thing and shoot you out to space. But something that you said, I wanted to not glance over, which was about the hard work in the process. So my father was a photographer as well. I can remember going downtown to the Nikon store when he could only use Nikon film. I can remember, the chemicals when he was trying to do his own darkroom and studio work, and just the laborious task of bringing someone their images, their pictures, their memories. And now to see where we've come from, right? 20 years or so. I think that what happens is for anyone who meets you, there's kind of like an antique but humble, like humility about you. I can't explain it, but it's duplicatable. And so
I'm a new antique. I'm gonna write that one down. John, you're a new antique. Cool.
But what I mean by that is, like, we come from a family that we like nice things, but we were taught to like look at the drawers, know how things are built, because well-manufactured pieces hold their value. Mm-hmm. You're well-manufactured. And so after 21 years is someone's infancy to adulthood, right? 21 years, you're still very well-manufactured. And I think if there's anything that you can impress on younger people, the kids, is that, like, that should be duplicatable. Quality service, respecting other, nostalgia. Yes, I like Catrice. Catrice, I'm in the market for a new auntie, new TT. If you can bake and or cook or saute,
that's my aunt.
Or saute, let me know, because you might be hired soon. I'm looking for some love. I like her. She's your aunt, so shout out to you. About to get beat up for your aunt.
She's literally my aunt.
I believe
I was the best man at her wedding. She's literally my aunt.
Cool. And we're literally on a corner right now. Y'all see the corner? We're on a corner. Don't make me take my earrings off. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is duplicate that. When you show up, we may not know what digital advances are coming in photography. And guess what? If the Republicans get their way in certain ways, the limits will be put on social media, right? So we don't know what tomorrow is going to hold in the business all the time, but those core foundational things, courtesy, competency, dedication, stick-to-itness, the desire to continue to learn the trait, that is what you duplicate in these younger people.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Catrice can't cook. I loved you. Sure. I loved you, Catrice. Yeah.
But don't rely on social media. This is not everything. And a lot of times people are living on this fake planet. Like, no, Facebook, you're not entitled to Facebook. It's not a right. It's a public entity, and they can get rid of you. They got rid of the president of the United States while he was still the president of the United States. They get rid of you too. And regardless of how you feel about them, they still got rid of them. So when you start to do certain things, just don't rely on. You can rely on it to get to know people, but once you get to know them, you gotta make it personal. You can't just rely on just social media and all these fake numbers that can be fabricated. You can't fake how people feel about you in real life, or what how they feel about your products or your quality. You can't fake that, and nobody can take that away. Your reputation should not depend on. It should not depend on social media.
Absolutely. And don't use social media as your cloud system. So make sure y'all get your pictures or your things that you put up, make sure you have them saved somewhere else. Because that is a good point. And I think because certain things like that have been around for so long, we think that it's going to be forever, but we don't own the rights to any of the social media sites. And so that is very important. I think, like you said, we'll go back to that foundation and having the foundation that we need to really build upon. And so if you have only built a business solely on social media, it's not solid as a rock. Okay. So we want to make sure you go back and you build up under that foundation, because you want to have something that's solid, that's going to last, whether social media exists or not.
That's right. And we want to shout out to Larry White. Hey there. He is here with John. Thank you so much for tuning in. For anyone,
my boy, Larry.
For anyone who's coming in, please be sure to check this show out on the replay. Make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, type in the search, The Connected Corner. It's all phonetically spelled. And make sure you hit subscribe and get notified when we go live. This has been amazing. And even though we don't put all of our trust in Facebook alone, we do use it to connect. So please, John, give us your social media, Facebook and Instagram handles, so that anyone is interested in getting connected to you can find you.
On Facebook, I'm John Hudson III. On campus, I'm JH3MM, as stated that way. Man, this is my first time doing this whole conference thing. But yeah, just follow me on at JH3MM on pretty much everywhere, or Google JH3MM. You can put it in Facebook, JH3MM. Just remember, JH3MM.
I love it. It's like a jingle. Yes, I love it. When you want to take pictures, yes, trying to take pictures of them. Get with JH3MM. Did you hear it? I will say this then. You want to take pictures of them. You better get with JH3MM.
It was kind of close.
It was better the first time. It was better the first time, but nonetheless, that's how we get connected to you. Stay connected. Listen, anything we can do to add value to your world, please let us know. That is the point of this platform. But always, you are family, and we are grateful to have this connection with you. My name is Tori Rose, and you guys can find me as Tori Rose the Connector on Instagram and Facebook. Key, how can we find you?
You can find me on all social media platforms as Kiana B. Jones. And I'm sorry. When John said something earlier about the shirt, I was like, how did he come up with that? I forgot I had this side. I had my name on my shirt.
If you know me in person, you see my level of detail. It's like, I was like, it will drive you crazy. People that work with me, it drives them crazy. Like, what? How did you even see that? Like, why do you even care?
It's amazing to me. And shout out to you for being an amazing dad as well. I see little man behind you and the Lego wall. So you guys understand, it is a full wall and it is beautiful. And I feel like you should just, people should pay you to come in for the wall is what I'm trying to say. I was going to say,
you know where I am most of the time. It definitely changes the subject once they walk through that door.
I'm sure. And guess what? They need to stop being judgmental.
my 9-foot son in the background. I was like, yeah. Oh, really? You can get a picture that big? Yeah. And it's clear.
It is. It's amazing. So guys, this has been the Connected Corner. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check us out every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you did not type in, I will succeed, do so before